Yo, look who it is, bro.
Hey, this is Jesse the Body Ventura.
It is Vince Russo.
I love the name, Jesse the Body Ventura.
Bro,
Anyway,
brother, if anybody's working, it is you, bro.
the hard-working union members of the Workers Club.
Bro,
You know, I'm a long-time 30-year member of the union myself.
from what I understand, you don't pull your weight, you never promote the show, you never book any guests, you don't do nothing.
I fought to try to get a union in the world of professional wrestling,
Bro,
and even got kicked out probably because of it.
bro, from the bottom of my heart,
The Workers Club. I love the name.
Okay, it's Workers Club 126, and it's Larry muted as he chews on some kind of food item, and Gus and Wilson. What?
Protein bar.
I'm unmuted, but I'm chewing.
Oh, yeah, he's also chewing. Okay. So Larry's eating a protein bar, and it's a long quest to body shame Adam Cole.
Mm-hmm.
This is all just so he can get into Adam Cole's comment section. Go, what's the big deal? Why can't you look like me? And Gus, what are you? Do you want to share what you're eating?
Oh, it's just a hamburger.
Just a hamburger.
Ooh, always with the burger. I'm jealous. Where from?
Burgers on it. It seems to be a Tuesday night thing for some reason.
Where's the burger from?
This is just fast food slop.
It's okay.
Lovely. I'm not gonna be distracted. Okay. I kind of have more complaints than things that are in the news. Like, there's nothing very newsworthy.
First of all, the workersclubshow@gmail.com. Somebody fucking pay us. I'm sick of this shit. Fucking pay us. Give me money.
Jeez.
Give me money.
Because of this book?
No, just the dollar figure that I came across or something else the other day. Just really.
Oh.
12 grand a month.
Pay us. Fuck you, pay us. Give us money.
We'll figure all that out.
All it is just takes one. I just need like one fin cock. That's it. Pay me.
Colin, you heard the man. Start Venmoing Gus. Or for that matter, everyone's favorite, and I say that with enthusiasm, right? Doc. Well, Larry has the theory that Doc actually doesn't listen. I like that theory.
I do.
I like it. And we know there's other people that think there's some that do but don't say. I think there's some that do not, and they should be shamed. Steve being the top, he should be shamed.
Not enough rape jokes on our show for him. I don't talk about fucking my mom in the ass or anything like that. So
that's Steve. That's the draw for Steve as he listens on date night with his wife, his poor wife. I did my due diligence with Steve today and sent him the video of Stephanie McMahon in the Oval Office.
You are not out. You are going to drive this man to suicide.
Everybody needs a friend like me where Steve says, go, Cleveland. And I go, dude, don't they hire? I just try to ruin everything for Steve.
Don't they employ criminals?
Yeah. They gave a guaranteed contract to a sex criminal, sex crime guy.
24 lawsuits.
and you're there hooting and hollering, You know
the worst part about that signing is you don't even get anything useful out of it. Like,
nope.
I mean, if you're like the Michael Jordan of sex crimes and also like the Michael Jordan of your sport,
no
fine.
problem.
Thankfully, Michael Jordan just had gambling issues.
Yeah, sure.
Imagine if it comes out that Michael Jordan was just a long line of confirmed, we're talking like Epstein level. Michael Jordan had a Michael Jordan Island.
Don't. That would literally ruin my entire childhood. I cannot have that. Please don't let that happen.
And
I mean, he did get his father murdered, though. That is.
Do you think? That's one of my favorite theories.
I don't think it's a theory. I think that's conspiracy fact.
Do you believe in the thing about like he had to do the baseball thing as like a faux suspension?
Absolutely.
You don't buy that he just wanted to do a childhood dream of playing baseball?
Yeah, at the peak of his, the most competitive guy in the world, like at the top of the mountain.
His dad died.
How convenient! The owner of your basketball team, who also happens to own a baseball team, found a way to still pay you for a year.
Well, he came back.
Maybe Adam Cole will come back like Michael Jordan.
Okay, they threw up a like this most amount stats. I'm going to really try not to be distracted. They did the old like these are the most whatever it was stolen bases and and they threw up Ellis Burks. And for a minute I was like, what? Ellis Burks he's not on the team. I got confused. I thought they were doing the lineup.
What was the stat?
I think it was stolen bases. It was something or other. I just glanced over and I get easily confused. I know Larry will be shocked by that information. Okay, let's get to this. What the latest and greatest is with all the cast of characters that we've covered. I just felt a little crazy this week that everyone started reporting that the OVW was responsible for their second season of their show, and I was like, they've already
broke that 2 months ago.
What the fuck? That was it, really. Just that everyone's like, hey, OVW's doing it on their own. It's like, yeah, we fucking know.
Yeah, the workers learned that like weeks ago.
I think it's because we actually read the press release and no one else did.
Correct.
Oh, my God. It took Al was going out there going, hey, we're filming this thing.
Listen, if
apparently all it takes to be a reporter is be on top of your Google alerts and
there you go.
That's it. I mean, if one guy doesn't listen to a podcast, 47 other Twitter accounts don't have content that day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the aggregation's extreme.
Turn the TV off.
I'm fine. It's quiet. Okay, here we go. Once I start in the book, that'll grab all my attention. Aren't you glad I don't do the... Hey, look, it's the playoffs. What do you want from me? I have a gripe with Sportskeeda. Sportskeeda is responsible for Vince Russo and all that little network they've got, podcasting network.
Mm-hmm. And they're generally known as being like the worst aggregators, bot accounts.
Yes. I just have one. This guy's name here says by Arpit Shrivastava. He covered the Jonathan Coachman being mad about the ESPN thing, right? From WrestlePalooza. And here's my issue. This is the headline that Arpit Shrivastava wrote. Huge name publicly calls out Triple H and WWE for snubbing him at WrestlePalooza 2025. Huge name? Coachman? And then he even puts a popular name, isn't holding back. These are wrong on both counts, popular and huge. That's it. I just have our pit do better.
I mean, sure, I guess he was on ESPN, but like, if you just showed like a picture of him, no one's gonna know who that is.
No, nobody would know who that is. Bret Hart was in Germany, and I enjoyed that because that was something that we really enjoyed. Bret's love of Germany, and he was in Germany. I love that he still goes. He does Q&As. You know,
he
he's
meet
still,
up with his handler, buddy.
he
What's that dude's name?
Who's handler?
I'm trying to.
Brett's like driver handler guy in Germany.
Oh, jeez.
Bruno.
Sure.
I remember when the Ireland, the guy driving him around, telling him about the troubles, the fan.
You could do a whole world history book done through Bret Hart's eyes.
I'd love to know what his thoughts are on certain world events. He was in Germersheim, Germany, and you better believe he brought up how Ric Flair wrestles the same way in every match. I do not. And I kind of always take umbrage with that a little bit. The Bret goes, "Oh, I wrestled different every night." It's like, did you? He has his go-to. He's got his, I hate to use this word, move set.
Yeah, the high notes are always the same. It's usually the in between with Bret.
You'd think at some point Bret would have learned not to keep running towards the turnbuckle chest first and just stop.
You could say that for any rope spot. I mean,
no, if you're being whipped backwards, you don't know what's happening.
You're always running forwards, and you turn at the last second.
Let's take the impact because you're like, oh no, my chest. That's where my heart is. Bret, like a fool, goes chest first. So there's that.
Not his fault. He's the only one who puts any goddamn logic behind any of this.
I also found that Vince Russo gave what has been being called an X-rated rant about the current product. He was watching WWE Unreal.
Oh boy, we still haven't watched that. I haven't watched it on my own yet either.
No. I'm just gonna say this, bro. I have never seen a bigger bunch of pussies in my life. They're pussies, bro. When, how, where, or why wrestlers became pussies, they're pussies, bro. They are absolute pussies, and it's pathetic. This is officially, clearly, no longer professional wrestling. This is professional pussies. I swear, Jeff. We've talked about this for so long, and now when you watch this stuff, we always talk about this, Jeff. It winds up being a parody of itself. It's literally all freaking Triple H does. Somebody comes through the curtain, he pops out his chair, he's hugging them, he's whispering in their ear, he's putting his hands on their shoulder. It's so freaking pussy. It's cringe. It is freaking cringe. And then you got CM Punk. CM Punk literally crying because he headlined WrestleMania. Jeff, let me tell you something. I had that moment in my life because, Jeff, I'm going to be honest with you. These are all the, Russo. He's getting them all in. I can go back to, 4th grade when I was writing a bunch of, really, we had to write stories. And my stories were very creative. And I remember in elementary school... I remember in elementary school my teachers putting over how creative
your teachers put you over.
I'm flashing back to how stupid Vince was.
I remember when Mr. Harrison put over my lane merging skills in driver's ed.
I remember in elementary school my teachers putting over how creative my stories were. Bro, that made me want to be a writer. Oh, we have them to thank. In elementary school, Jeff, it made me want to be a writer, so I stuck with that. I went to school for journalism.
I was agreeing with Russo for the first time in so long until he took turn.
Yeah. So, Jeff, you know what the dream of a writer is? The dream of a writer is to get published. That's the dream of a writer, Jeff. I can remember when Forgiven came in the mail. I can remember when my first book came in the mail. And, bro, it was a holy shit moment. This was the dream, bro. Bro, I didn't cry like a pussy.
Does Amy know that he's using this language in the basement?
I like that he got his book and like a psycho, he just stared at it blankly.
Bro. He smelled it. He definitely did a big inhale. Like a...
Amy, that's a published book smell. My point is, Jeff, few and far between, literally maybe 3 and 5 years, bro. At WrestleMania, every single person that comes in the back, everybody's giving them a standing ovation. And my first thing is, why are there 50 people in gorilla position? Bro, the gorilla position used to be Vince, Bruce, and the agent. That's it. You watch this on the real show, there's 80,000 people in the freaking gorilla position. Somebody walks through, they're all choked up.
I mean, now we're just back in my day.
He's doing it. By the way, I've seen clips of Vince crying in the gorilla position and hugging wrestlers. Come on, what are we doing?
That's true. But it was usually deserved, though. It was usually, you know what I mean? Every moment's a big moment to Triple H. Vince, it was like once every 5 years.
I don't even know if I've seen Triple H cry. He's just always telling everybody how great it was. You know,
that's true. He's never cried.
No, he's just giving like very pat, like
just the time he faked it during the Owen tribute.
Yeah, taking those deep breaths. Man, how much did he rehearse that? What he was gonna say? Staring in the mirror. And then, the last bit just came out today, about almost 5 o'clock today. Trump has ordered, through executive order, $50 million in research grants, specifically powered by AI research for the National Cancer Institute's Childhood Cancer Data Initiative, which he had announced in 2019. But who did he have out there announcing that, or I guess bolstering this announcement? Stephanie McMahon of Connor's Cure, and Paul Levesque, and Linda as well. The whole gang.
I don't know. Why? Why were they there?
I guess because of the cancer thing. Justin Roberts seething today.
I already said that on Twitter. The way Trump compliments Stephanie is like the way you compliment your child when they do their first book report. He's like, that was very good.
Yeah, you know, he goes, hey, she's done this before. What, public speaking in front of cameras? Yeah. Yeah, she has.
Didn't we already cut the cancer budget? So what, are we just adding money back to it now that we cut it?
For childhood cancer. If you can solve I guess pediatric cancer. I was going to say, because if you solve childhood cancer, aren't you also probably on your way to solving just cancer? Or is pediatric cancer different than regular? I'm not a doctor.
Everyone's different, really.
Cancer, it's fucking, yeah. There is no...
Colin, answer this. Colin will know.
And yeah, through AI, what does that mean?
It's just he's gonna pay off some jagoff in Silicon Valley. That's all it is. It's a fucking transfer of
that. When I type in, I have a headache and I've been sweating, and it's gonna tell me I have cancer.
Yeah, WebMD.
Right?
WebMD. We have maybe WebMD.
I know doctors use it, and I know it's worked, but like staking proven science and putting it aside for, you know, I'm not going to get on a political.
Is it because Linda called it A1, so he just wanted Stephanie out there to say it properly? Maybe. Was Linda confused in the background? Like, what's she talking about? AI.
Well, the difference between knowledge and wisdom is that a wise person knows that God is the source of everything.
Wise person knows. But what's the wait? But he said that he started with the
Nope.
Larry bailed.
No, I'm saying I know he bails halfway through. He doesn't tell you what knowledge is. Sorry.
That's power. Wow. You have another one? Come on.
Well,
give me
if I
another
teach
one.
you, I inform you. If I show you, I just form you. If you show others, you transform you.
I don't like that one. God damn it.
Jesus.
I don't like that. That one's so sweaty.
The big news, he made a new one. And he hasn't made a new one in over a year.
Oh, wow. You got fresh
shit.
content.
He's a listener.
It's very long. I haven't even read it yet, so here it is. As children, we are taught to fill our minds with as much knowledge as possible, because the more we know, the more we grow. To be filled is to be full, we are told. Yet to be filled with knowing everything can mean we are fooled into knowing nothing. Are we truly full, or are we a fool? Only when we accept that we know nothing does the mind grow silent enough to see. The silent part of the word know was never needed for you to be full. It was never about how much you know, but how much you now. Fill yourself with every now, and you will be full. For knowledge comes in shovelfuls, but wisdom arrives in teaspoonfuls. Oh, again with the knowledge and wisdom. So I guess that silent K and no is really vexing him.
He's lost it. He's out there swinging it, tilting at windmills. He's got nothing. He's throwing anything out there. Words,
yeah, that was
words.
desperate. Like he just threw out, trying to connect the universe.
Teaspoon, spoonful, fill.
Silent K's.
Take another pass at that, my man. Tighten it up. Okay. Hey, I forgot. Well, whenever we end these things, we're very tired, or I can't speak for you guys. I assume just or exhausted, even. And this last chapter, I kind of the minute we stopped, I was like, oh, I wanted to bring up something that, Tim on these is very the McMahons are kind of painted as the heroes of the story a little bit. They're very ethical. They're very hardworking. And then that last chapter, Vincent McMahon was kind of starting to act a little shady towards Sam Mushnick in the NWA.
Well,
and Tim really didn't take him to task.
And it keeps going.
Yeah.
And what we're going to read. When I was looking, well, I'll talk about my book I picked before we get into things. I was looking at other books, and I wanted to read about the last Real World Champion, about Ric Flair, also a Tim Hornbaker book.
Mm-hmm.
So I was leery about doing another one of his so soon, but then I read some reviews, and it said it turns into a fluff piece.
Oh, man.
So I wonder if he's got a little hero where I don't want to say things over an interview him, but I think he's putting guys on a pedestal. I bet if we read that White Sox book, Joe Jackson's going to be deified.
Well, you didn't understand about Shoeless Joe.
I mean, really, Joe Jackson was fucking 100 years ahead of everybody else in the gambling thing. I mean,
that's true.
Ty Cobb liked all kinds of people.
No mob ties.
But yeah, that last chapter that we read there, he was kind of doing. He almost kind of was like, who's to know why Vince was doing these things? And it's like, well, come on, I think we know why he's not sending in payments and he's trying to slightly expand. I think we know. So chapter 12, promotional independence. We're in 1963.
Hang on, I want to announce the book first before we get into
okay.
things.
Our next book.
It was down to 3.
Okay.
Karrion Kross, Steve Keirn Part 2.
Uh-huh.
But the one I'm going with, it's an old one. It's one of the first wrestling books. Pure Dynamite.
Oh.
Oh, wow, a wild card. Was
Only
not
because, listen, you know what I wanted to do was one of Diana's fiction books. They are gone from Amazon,
Really?
and they were Kindle only, I believe.
Were they on Anna's archive?
Ooh, I can look, but I didn't. I know you guys like your physical copies. I didn't want to.
No.
I just
have
like
a-
my physical for posterity. I like being able to look at my bookshelf and be like, look what we've accomplished.
I'm
Oh,
not
they
a-
are on Anna's archive because Cauliflower
do it?
Heart. Cauliflower Heart is the one I have on my Kindle.
Well, we can print it. I'm not above printing.
No,
that
you
out.
know what? I was previewing the pros. It's gonna be a fuck. I mean, it's gonna look like Ed Ferrara is Stephen King. It's very just a woman writing a fantasy. You know, a middle-aged woman writing a fantasy for herself.
Nice. I like that.
Except her name is
That's cool.
Claudette,
Oh, okay.
and her son's name is Dempsey, and she used to be married to a wrestler, and now she's making it on her own.
Okay. Well, all right. So pure dynamite it is.
Yeah. We can read about how Stu Hart scooped up cat shit and then flipped the eggs. That's in this book.
Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah. Brett was always very kind to his father's cooking. Which we took issue with.
$40.
Yeah. What do we got here? I'm looking it up right now.
You can get a cheaper. Actually, there's $10 versions on here.
This is pure dynamite. The price you pay for wrestling stardom by Tom Billington.
I used $15. Come on.
Let's see. There you go. Only one left in stock. My goodness.
Uh-oh.
Not no more.
Oh no. What if I proceed to check out as well?
What if I just checked out?
Yeah. We'll have to figure. I'm not even logged in. I'll find it. I'm sure that I find on eBay or something.
There's other copies if you look in the use part. Actually, there's one for $3.
All right, there it is.
From the Missouri Goodwill. That'll be a short.
Oh yeah.
Little shit.
Man, imagine finding that at Goodwill. That'd be a fucking score.
Yeah, if I ever went to one. I don't do that sort of thing.
You're not a thrifter?
No. Oh, that's right. So we're in 1963, and the NWA's Sam's big brain idea is making Lou Thez champion.
Again, he's 46.
Yeah. Let's see. We got McMahon and Toots and Gilzenberg up there in the Northeast. And McMahon is trying to do... This is where I started getting confused. I was like, didn't he rejoin the NWA at this point? But he's still, I guess, even though he's rejoined the NWA, or in spirit or something, I don't know how he's still trying to do the AWA thing. He's kind of trying to have it both ways. Tim writes that, up there in the Northeast, big part of the job, appeasing all these athletic commissions. You got Pennsylvania, Maryland, New York. And I think I write later, but I make a note of when did that stop? When did they stop being kooks up there on the athletic commissions for wrestling? Tim doesn't bring that up, and that's been a major part of the book is the Muldoons of the world going, what's this now? Let's see. He talks about that McMahon is the one making all the decisions. Buddy Rogers is crucial. After he loses to Thez, right? Because they're going to try to unify the titles again and all that, and have one guy, and it's going to be Thez. When that goes down, it's Vince going around. He's still... Rogers is being billed as like he's a title contender, or just the title was nobody cares. The titles are ignored. Let's see. What is he right here? Buddy Rogers in Cleveland is dethroned for his WWA championship by Dory Dixon, Jamaican star.
Right.
Kohler is advertising Moose Cholak. Cholak?
No, I got it right.
Cholak?
First time.
Cholak?
You got it right the first time.
Tim writes here, okay, the complexities of growing his independent empire were harrowing. Harrowing. I'd love some more details, but we're not going to get any.
There's a bad one coming up that I've noted about, like something like that.
Let's see. He doesn't believe. So with all this nonsense with like Thez and Vern over there, and then Kohler pushing this other guy, and Tim does not believe that 3 different heavyweight title contenders going simultaneously, that he was just caught off guard, but like that he's he's not running a sloppy shop. He does not believe this to be true for Vincent McMahon. That maybe this is all an end game. All these people running around saying, I have a right to the title. And then he says, so Buddy Rogers says he fell off a cliff, quote unquote.
What? No, he doesn't.
No, he didn't. He's using it,
no, he doesn't even say it. It just says Rogers fell off a cliff.
Yeah. Well, he says around Sunday, April 21st, 1963. And I wrote on or around. A very specific date. Reports are that he suffered a heart attack. Okay. And I think I looked at into this. And he kind of goes in, it's never made clear. He says, he was going to be not going to be medically cleared, or that was the concern. The concern would that he would be out. No one really knows what's going on with Buddy Rogers. People hear that he's ill and they think he's faking it. And then Tim writes that Rogers not being on the roster is very bad for Capitol Wrestling. It's quote unquote crippling for them. I was like, is he gone? I thought it was just like report. Like what's happening? Is he not? Is he reported? Is he suspended? But now it's time to move to Bruno Sammartino. Okay, that's what Vince is figuring on. He says Buddy's condition was still up in the air, and that's where I'm going, what? How is it still up in the air? Either he's got a bad ticker or he don't. And I feel like Vince would have the line on that he would know. And he says less than 2 weeks after his illness, heart, what? He was back in the ring, participating in short bouts. So I guess Buddy Rogers is in there worried about his heart exploding.
I mean, he lived another almost 30 years.
Well, yeah, and it says here the heart ailment that sidelined Rogers had been building for weeks, if not months. Right, bro? So it's not a sudden. He wrote earlier it was sudden.
I think he had a coke problem. What do you think about that?
I think I agree. Sure. Let's speculate. He probably got it from Bob Backlund.
Noted crack addict.
Yeah. So, the WWF starts putting out a story that San Martino won a tournament, and that's why he's got a contender, and then he also says that people, they're trying to get the WWF name going, but people are still using the WWWA. And Tim writes, one of the sport's great unanswered questions, one of the great ones unanswered in this sport, is whether the WWWA was the actual intended name for McMahon's promotion. Haven't you?
It makes me sad because it says Pittsburgh and Cleveland were still using that name even after they switched to WWF.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've never really done an archive search before. I'm like, I want to fucking see some articles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's $25 to fucking subscribe. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah. Everything's better now.
And the thumbnails were so good too. What did they call Vince? The Barnum of Brawlers. It was a. I don't know. If I can find someone with it, I will find some articles.
Hey, somebody pay us $25 so we can get this fucking article. It's not hard. You guys want content? Pay us.
There's 1870 articles about wrestling in the Cleveland newspaper.
And I'm shocked that Tim didn't put any of these in the book. He loves quoting those papers. So, May 17th, 1963, San Martino beats Rogers in a squash. There you go. We're in the San Martino. It begins. 19,648. Got it. Tim calls him the Pittsburgh Italian.
Not to get ahead of ourselves, but as we get into San Martino's run,
yeah,
not a lot of sellouts.
No, it's more about tenure, more about just he's there all the time.
Mr. 70% full, San Martino.
Yeah.
Because you remember they touted him having 187 sellouts or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Dave took him to the mat on that one. He's right.
I like that Tim gets a little I don't know what you would call this. I guess he's speculating. He's kind of fantasy booking a little bit. In a business sense, Rogers' exit was far too premature. Loss of revenue from outdoor matches during the summer was depressing.
I don't know what that means.
Well, it feels like they could have done a whole summer series between San Martino and Rogers.
Oh, between those two specifically.
Outdoors,
Okay.
Yeah. Chicago, June 1963. Fred Kohler's in a wrestling war. I don't know what we got there. Fred Kohler, what has he done? He pushed to keep Jim Barnett and Johnny Doyle out of the NWA. He proposed that the alliance disband. He wouldn't pay Sam Mushnick for appearances by Rogers. He's doing his own thing. The International Wrestling Alliance, the IWA. He's got Moose Cholik. And then McMahon stops giving him wrestlers. I guess stops booking in Chicago. Fred Kohler's losing his mind. He's lost his TV. He's hired Jack Pfeffer, who's still alive. So he's not friendly with. He doesn't have talent from McMahon. He doesn't have talent from the NWA. He's pissing everybody off. This is the guy that got Chicago wrestling large.
I was gonna say maybe he's to blame then. That in the 70s, Chicago didn't have its own territory. Yeah. Indianapolis had one, and Vern would run it. But there was no like Chicago only.
Yeah. Might be. He might have. He put a dent in here. So they talk about San Martino traveling less than other former world champions or title holders, and I'm sure there was some veterans, some Strangler Lewis out there going, jeez, this guy barely leaves the territory. You know, this back in my day. Let's see.
Back in my day, there were only 3 guys in the gorilla position.
Yes. And they weren't pussies.
We drove our 52 Studebaker across 8 states to make our booking in Little Rock, Arkansas.
I love that, his favorite show is All in the Family, and he's doing one man. Okay, so McMahon is putting out there San Martino is the exclusive champion. Okay, he has a conversation with Sam Mushnick. Mushnick's always sending letters to Vince. He's going, I understand that he's a champ, but we're still doing, Lou says is a champion. And McMahon's going, look, I need a champion in the territory. Okay. Let's see. McMahon misses the annual convention in St. Louis. He's at the Garden. He sent his best wishes via telegram. So he's not there in St. Louis in August of 1963. In the Alliance, hard going. They go, okay, this guy, he's still doing his own thing. He's doing his own thing, even though he said he wouldn't. Okay? He's not recognizing Lou Thez as champion. So they vote to give him a probationary period of 60 days to adhere to these rules and regulations of the NWA. And Mushnick writes McMahon a letter that he needs to advertise that Lou Thez is the undisputed title holder within that time, or he will be suspended for a year. Okay. I don't want to spoil anything, Gus. Larry, do you think Vince McMahon adheres to the rules and regulations? No, the deadline passed. And Toots and McMahon are suspended by the Alliance. Kohler's banned because he's doing his thing. He's got an IWA champion. Sam's had enough of these these false champions. You're banned. You're suspended. Doc Carl Sarpolis in the Amarillo territory. You're suspended. You're pushing Dory Funk Jr. Hold on, I gotta pause real quick. Okay, where are we?
Vince and Toot have been suspended.
Yep, and Dory Funk Jr. is getting pushed, so that's a suspension for you. And then later, Sam's like, "Oh, sorry, that was a misunderstanding." I don't know how that's a misunderstanding, but okay. And then I kind of wonder, why is it Vern? Where's Vern? He's not getting punished. He's not getting suspended.
I thought he's not in the NWA.
Is he not? Is he totally independent at this point?
He's just friendly with them.
Okay. So then, to maybe
because later on when Vince finally, spoiler, he acknowledges Dory Funk as champ, puts Vern on his cover of his magazine, and it says NWA hoped Vern would be a member like Vince Sr. was, but he never did.
So what's to Vince's, I guess, to side with him, or to what's the big? So let him be if Vern can do it, why can't Vince do it? Why is Sam so? I know why Sam's so hard on for the territory, because it's making money hand over fist, and it's the biggest. You got the biggest cities and what have you.
That's all. That's all it is.
Okay, that's
They want
okay.
they want Vince in, but they don't want to seem disrespected when he just flouts their rules to them. Whereas, who gives a shit about Minneapolis?
You think that bothers Vern? That he's allowed to have his little fiefdom, but that also he knows why that is. Why?
I don't think so.
So he talks about the play of the day for WWF was always Bruno versus heel monsters. Okay, that's the order of this. He talks about, hey, Gorilla Monsoon shows up.
It becomes a lot of names here.
It does. He starts just listing feuds. We're getting names. We're getting dates. We're getting gates.
Names, dates, and gates.
19,706, 59,000, 33,000. Over at was that a Shea possibly? No, that was at the Garden. But then he brings up the sudden disappearance of Antonino Rocca. Remember, he was around. He was popular. Well, that was because he was getting into it with Capital Wrestling. He was hospitalized and pulled out of several key appearances. He missed a show in Cleveland. He's suspended by the NWA. And McMahon just starts pushing Vittorio Argentina Apollo. That'll be my South America guy, he says. He says that guy wasn't as charismatic as Rocca, but there you go. Tim writes, he was a fitting replacement. And I wrote, but he was a Latin. So that's about that. Rocco is not upset. And as often has happened in this book, when a wrestler is upset about the way he's being treated, he goes, what if I start my own little promotion and take you down? And he tries that. And what's funny, I was not expecting this. Who gets involved with him? Jim Crockett. Which is also this thing, again, where we talked about where it's like, it's the NWA. They have all these rules and regulations. And then people they're constantly skirting them. And it's kind of, if it's making somebody money, it's okay. If it's not, then it becomes a problem. So Jim Crockett, who should not be doing this, starts giving Rocca talent to run his little world booking agency. He's got a weekly TV program. So there you go. But in the end, it's just too much. There's he can't expand it.
No. But this is a bad Tim thing here. This is my boo-boo with it. Okay. It says Crockett lived up to his end until pressure from backstage channels cooled his interest in the New York expansion. Talk about that. Someone pay him a visit? Someone give him a phone call?
Sam wrote him a letter. What do you think you were doing? We got rules.
Again, some details would be nice.
I'm sure the McMahon family never forgot that Jim Crockett also tried to do this at one point.
No, of course not. Look, they're all crooks. They're all trying to pull the rug out from underneath each other. Like, this is not a best friends, happy consortium. It
is when they have their annual meeting in Mexico or Las Vegas or wherever.
No, but that's funny what Gus is saying, because when I was reading today, I'm like, this is heel versus heel.
Yeah.
And the NWA are just fucking bumpkins, can never agree on fucking shit, do shady shit. And then
they're the
Vince
Democratic Party. The NWA is the Democratic Party.
Yeah, and then Vince is just a dick to them, doesn't play by the rules. So yeah, that's
then wins. That's life.
There we go. That's right. That's right.
That was the lesson of this journey.
So Rock is out of business. At 64. You got 46-year-old Freddie Blassie, who I think has been
book at some point.
Blassie's been 46 or older his entire life. There was never a point where he was younger than 46.
That's right.
We got Toronto's Walter Sieber, Waldo von Erich, the Nazi sympathizer. Gene Knitsky of Edmonton. McMahon is watching the fans' reactions, and basically this is how this works. If they like it, he gives them more of it. If they don't like it, he stops it. He's really reinventing the wheel here. Sam's scratching his head going, wait a minute. He just more names. Bobo Brazil, Haystacks Calhoun. And now he's also got the United States Championship. He's got his World Championship that he was told not to do, but he's still doing it. And now he's got a United States Championship because Bobo's got it. And that's 2 singles titles. Vince is being very saucy right now.
Too many belts.
Too many belts for sure. Yeah, where was Dave then at this time? A young pup in what year is this? 60 whatever, I can't even find it now. 63. Is Dave born? Dave's born, right? He's born in 63. Is he
yeah, probably about then. He's in his early 60s.
Let's see. Remember, he's got the Capitol Arena, formerly the Turner Arena, down in Washington D.C. Robbers broke in 63, stole $2,000 in cash. They move buildings. McMahon gets the National Roller Skating Rink, also known as the National Arena, on 17th Street and Colorama Road, Northwest. And that's where the weekly shows start out of.
What's the capacity there?
I believe he puts it down as was it 2,000 or something like that, or something. It's or that might be in another arena later in the book where he's like, it's perfect. It's like 3,000 max. Great. That's all you need for TV.
Anything else would be too ostentatious.
Yeah. William Gildea of the Washington Post wrote a commemorative article about the Capitol Arena since it was going to be demolished in 1965.
You gotta go outside, Peanut?
And they bring up that and at his office, Vincent McMahon had a panorama of the Comiskey Park the night that Buddy Rogers won the NWA title. That was hanging over behind him at the desk.
Better than a fucking T-Rex skull.
And McMahon in the article says, all of this grew out of this little garage on W Street. We're going to miss the old place. Talks about politicians that enjoyed wrestling in D.C. All your favorites. Senators Estes Kefauver, Tom Connolly, John McClellan, General Douglas MacArthur, J. Edgar Hoover.
Uh-oh.
And First Lady Bess Truman.
Mr. Wrestling too.
If I was married to Harry Truman, I'd want to get out of the house too. Get down and watch some graphs.
Well, he's never home. He's too busy negotiating with the Greys and the tall whites and the Nords.
When anything about violence would get brought up about, wrestling being on TV, Vincent McMahon would answer, there's a knob on each TV set for changing channel.
You know what? I kind of miss that sort of attitude, though.
Oh,
yeah.
Sure. But that was always Vince's go-to.
Yeah. There's a remote.
Turn the channel.
If the show doesn't appeal to you, all you have to do is flip the knob. and watch something else. And on it goes. Vince in 64, maybe for a little bit longer here, starts having TV problems. They keep canceling his ass or moving his shows around.
Yep.
It starts hurting the attendance business side of things. Mushnick comes back to the NWA in 63. They got their annual meeting in St. Louis. And Sam starts getting real thirsty. He starts sending McMahon, it's just downright desperate. Just sending him letters like, "Hey, just we're gonna have this meeting down in St. Louis. If you were thinking about coming back, just so you know, we could do it there, and then we could reinstate you.
Love to have you and the wife over some pork chops."
And then he sends another letter like, "Just so you know, so the conference, that's 20th and 29th, and we're meeting at the hotel, and be about noon. Just so you know, these are the specific, in case you just wanted those details." Toots or Vince did not go. But they did send a telegram. "You're a great organization. Good stuff." Members appreciated the kind words, says Tim, and I wrote suckers.
Yeah.
And you better believe Sam sent a letter. "Thank you. Appreciate it." Let's see. So, what else is going on? The NWA is messing around with the Bureau of Immigration and Naturalization. There's restrictions on overseas talent. And this is where I wrote, "Tim, we are in the last 40 pages. What are we doing?" Some point, 65, Mushnick and McMahon go, "You know what if we unified our title, San Martino's WWF World title, with Lou Thesz's NWA title?" And they start kind of getting in early talks about that. There's two big problems with that. One, Lou Thesz hates Toots Mondt. Why does he hate Toots Mondt? Because when he first started out, way back 30 years prior, 1936, he didn't get paid enough by Toots. Tim writes, "Nearly starved young little Lou." That's problem one. I don't want to do business with this company because of Toots. And he's demanding $100,000. That's what it'll take for him to do this. The other problem is San Martino. "I don't like traveling."
The David needs his father.
Yeah. My wife expects me at home in Pittsburgh. So the idea of being a touring NWA champion has no appeal to Bruno. You got that? None. Zero.
But the way he draws outside of New York, it's not like they would have fucking asked him. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, maybe, but he seemed like a very regionalized draw.
Not a lot of Italians down in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah, down in Dallas, they're like, "I don't know about this boy here." Okay, he's strong. Okay. Oh, that guy right there, Smashing Machine. There you go. Now we're in the August 65 convention here. Oh, I did have a question put out. Because Sam seems really hindered by this whole Lou Thesz is champion again, Is that one of his biggest blunders? Looking back on it, making Lou Thesz champion, it kind of almost handcuffs him a little bit. With at least his big plan of wanting to bring Vince back in the fold and having one unified champion that everyone likes. And
I don't think it would have happened anyways.
Yeah, but I mean, I think by making Thez, that's part of the reason why. It's not the reason, but it speaks to their incompatibilities to work together in any meaningful way to actually achieve anything.
So with these talks coming, all of a sudden, it's been his big thing that he wants one recognized champion, and it's going to be the NWA champion. Well, now, after Vince has been twisting his nips this whole time, all of a sudden, Sam is going to the members at the convention going, what if, just hear me out, what if we don't have one singularly defined champion? What if we just let other people have world champions too?
Which is exactly where we're at today, which is...
Let's see. They don't agree. They're like, what? Ernie Ladd, Chief Wahoo, Dr. Bill Miller. That's it. He starts going through those. We're back in kind of like people Bruno faced out. We're kind of bouncing back as Tim likes to do. Has a little bit of what's going on with the NWA. Now we're back to Bruno feuds. Bill Watts. 44,000.
Well, but I don't. Hear me out. I mean, what if everyone just stayed in their own territories and you had your big guy in the territory?
Yeah.
I do want to ask Tim if he thinks that it was for the betterment of basically people recognize the. Would you say that whoever's the WWE champion is kind of recognized as the world champion? I mean, it's tough now, but for a time there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For a time there. It was Vince Jr.'s scheme at the end for the betterment of pro wrestling, or should they have just kept doing what they were doing where everyone has their own little territory?
I don't mean staying in the territories post. I just mean back then, back in the 60s, of not having a touring champion. Build your own guy that, I don't know, might make your territory better because what do you see the champion every 3 months?
Yeah.
If you're fucking Amarillo. So what do you do until then? Just pissing around. And then your local guy can never fucking beat him. It's always a screw job. I don't know. I know it worked, but maybe things could have worked better. We don't really think outside the box in wrestling.
Well, no, everyone. It's even then. It's very much. This is how it's done. Even when it only takes losing money, that then they go, okay, let's do something else.
Yeah.
But what's my other thing? It would have been odd if territory wrestling kept going because then the reach of TV and everything, like it was.
Well, that's the thing.
It's inevitable, right?
It would have had to have nationalized just as the entire culture did.
Yeah.
An alternate reality where NWA becomes the national, the territories keep going, and then NWA, because they have so many members, just becomes then there truly is like a board. How wrestling does, like we have a board, and they talked about the book, and there really would have been like a board of like various members that probably had voting power.
No, they weren't though.
If it wasn't Vince, I mean, we saw Crockett earlier.
Yeah,
it would
exactly. I was going to say Crockett had already consolidated. There were like fucking 3. It goes back to that Ole clip on Feinstein's shoot interview. He goes, "When's the last time they had an NWA convention?" And he's like, "Well, there were a bunch of little territories," and Ole's like, "There's no such thing." And he's like, it was just Crockett. That was it. So Flair wasn't NWA champion. He was Crockett's champion. That was his point. But, who was left at that point? Portland?
That's true.
I mean, Memphis has always been kind of its weird little island.
But what if they had been allowed to thrive and not be eaten up? Sam had a good idea. I did make a mental note. I was like, when Sam leaves, this whole thing collapses, right? And sure enough, that's what Tim Wright.
He was the last gentleman of the... Yeah,
it was his baby, as often things do. When it's somebody's baby, and the minute that they're not taking care of it or looking out for it.
Well, Sam was a sports writer before he became a promoter. I don't know if that influences sensibilities or not, but
Yeah.
he was like Tony Khan. He was a fan. He just wanted what was best for the business.
Let's see. Yeah, we're doing Gates. San Martino beats Tarzan Tyler at the Garden later that night. He's eating at the dinner at the Biltmore Theater, or near the Biltmore. He's not eating there. He's near it. Sorry. His car, San Martino's car, is robbed. They take his wrestling gear, a coat, and the $10,000 championship belt.
Why do you leave it in the car? Bring it into the hotel room, dude.
That's what it happened to Jericho. They lost the original AEW world title. Same thing. He was eating. Why not?
I'd probably pawn it for a chicken parm.
Bruno finding out his car's stolen. Oh no!
Somebody call AAA.
The belt was not found. Tim says that other people have claimed that they, found it, but nobody knows. Imagine the person though trying to make a fake old WWF. Like, what would that be worth? 10,000? Is it worth 10,000?
10,000. I'd say probably 40.
Whatever Conrad would pay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Conrad, is he on the job on this one? Is he trying to figure out where this title is? It's just sitting in someone's attic and near the Biltmore. Have we checked all the attics near the theater? And then Tim writes, over in the NWA, and I wrote, no! We're talking about Kaniski beating Thez in 66. We're going back to McMahon getting his programming canceled. And he says the loss of Bridgeport television appeared to be just another blow to the slowly crumbling Capital Wrestling empire. And I went, wait a minute, what? Hold on, slowly crumbling? We've just been talking about all the huge gates, all these paragraphs prior. What are we doing? What are we doing, Tim? Anyways, he inks a deal for some TV. Got Tank Morgan, El Toro Ortega. They're doing Gorilla Monsoon again. They're moving the shows around. They're canceling. Now the attendance, because of all the dicking around with the TV, that the attendance is starting to dip. 7,000, 6,600. This is in the fall of 67. Some people think it's because Bruno's overexposed. You got it? Too much Bruno.
They took my coat. How am I supposed to cover up?
There was probably a journalist with the giant flash camera taking a picture of the hard cam, putting it in the paper.
Man.
I got stigmatism.
Capital Wrestling is dying. And then he ends the chapter saying McMahon needs to think about moving the title off of San Martino. So, chapter 13, the most valuable territory.
Right.
Okay.
I'd like to follow up on our labor talk, because there was some news about that this week.
Our labor
First
talk?
of all, yeah, I looked up the number. It's 7 to 10% of revenue WWE pays.
Oh, that's what we were talking about. Yeah.
And then the Jasmine Nix thing.
Yeah, the 75K.
Yeah. They want all these athletes to come in and just what? They treat the athletes like they would the guys that came in like a generation ago now that were like they've only known WWE really, or maybe some Attitude Era stuff like but for the most part, they are just like, I just want a WrestleMania moment. All those people, those freakazoids. That's no who. Yeah, why would like that woman or anybody that's like played that has no concept of wrestling outside of just showing up?
She could easily make that just doing personal training, like going down to the Planet Fitness and watching people. You know what I mean?
Also a 1099 job. Yes.
Yeah.
And not have to leave or take bumps.
Exactly. Like, that is so insulting. Like, and it's probably one of those, we don't want to fire you, but we don't really need you around either. But, like, just have the balls to, like, just be like, nah, we're not interested.
That's all. I'm sorry.
I cannot stand how Aaron Boone chews gum. I mean, that's a minor thing of many things I can't stand, but his mouth being so when he blows the bubble or the bubble gum, just that. Uh-oh. Now I've heard of most valuable player, but most valuable territory? Come on, you knew that was coming later. It's chapter 13. Tim writes, the time-honored territorial system. Got a problem with that right away. Time-honored, okay, sure. He writes, that we were just talking about the territory is stable, baby. Things are working. Now we have all those old guys we were talking about earlier. Now they are crossing through the proverbial curtain and becoming part of management. Kind of. This is when I texted later. I was like, I'm getting a little snippy with Tim. I wrote proverbial or literal, as they literally had to go through the curtain most likely and then just stay back there.
No, there's definitely, I feel like we're at the point with Tim where it's like you've invited some guy over for a party that you're trying to feel out like maybe he's a cool guy. You want to see if he hangs, how he gels with the group. And I was just like, dude, you got to go home.
Did we really miss? Did they miss a? That's my problem with the commercials right now is that you're missing. Sometimes you'll be missing pitches. Nope. Okay, we're good. Ah, boy, this guy's not problematic at all. For Aldous Chapman.
But he's the opposite of Tyreek Hill. You got good production out of him. He'll bring you a ring.
It was funny watching the fans kind of be like, how do I be okay with it?
Well, that was the big thing with the Cubs World Series when everyone, because I was still living in Chicago at the time, and there was this very sense of it got you there, but
oh, he's putting in didn't we talk about this on the thing about Buster Olney? He's putting in the earpiece thing, right? Is he not? He's getting the thing. He's
because he never learned how to pitch.
Yeah, he told he never heard of fastball inside until he heard it into the gimmick, and Buster Olney got mad that somebody was like, "Come on, really?" So okay, where are we at? Fred Kohler leaves the business in 65, selling his whatever's left to Dick the Bruiser and Wilbur Snyder. Eddie Graham's down in Florida with Cowboy Luttrell. Fritz is down in Dallas. Okay, it's becoming what most people kind of know when they think about territory wrestling. Sheik's in Detroit, getting it from Barnett and Doyle, who go down to Australia. Okay. Abe Ford is running Boston for Capital Wrestling. And he tells a story about Abe Ford. He's running up against Tony Santos. Abe Ford's first show on April 20th turned into a living nightmare. Right, Larry? Living nightmare. When half the roster failed to show up, including Buddy Rogers.
Hart was acting up.
I had to make a note here. I thought nothing gets by Vince. Tim, what happened here? Half the roster doesn't show up to Boston? What? And so this guy he's accused of false advertising. He can't get this promotion off the ground in Boston. So he stops. And Santos and 68-year-old Jack Pfeffer is still hanging in there. They're like, okay, we'll run the Garden.
And you know how much older 68 was in like the 60s?
My God.
That's being like 140 today.
I bet his teeth looked great.
Oh, God, just lived through the depression.
I bet he smelled like God, either just heavy cologne or just
mothballs.
Yeah, mothballs, motor oil, coffee, pack of Winstons.
And now, remember Jack Pfeffer. Now, here's his big idea. He comes in, he's 68, and he goes, okay, this is how we're going to get people in the door. We're going to have a wrestler, and he's going to be called Bruno San Martino. He's still at it. He still likes give him the similar name. And Tim calls that a creative knockoff. I don't know if that's quite a creative.
That only works once, right? Like, you get tricked the one time.
Yeah.
It says you tricked the newspaper.
He gets the papers in Boston to write San Martino. I liked this one. We don't have Bobo Brazil. We have Hobo Brazil. That's a guy that looks like Bobo, but he has like a little knapsack or like a little bindle.
That's a money gimmick.
We got
I like Pierre.
Yeah, Pierre Carpentier. Now he's gonna place Edward. So then Ford's like, "Hey man," to Vince McMahon, "this is your territory. Can you help me out?" So he fights back. He gets some TV going. He gets advertisers put in newspapers going, "I have the real Bruno," okay? And he's calling it World Championship Wrestling. And again, though, attendance is low, and he quits again.
Wait, if Bruno didn't want to travel, what they could have done, they could have had like local Brunos that they just franchise out.
That's
so you'd have
true.
like different Brunos across the country.
Vince looks at Pfeffer's idea and goes, "I like this. We have a San Martino, a San Marino."
Yeah, you'd have like Miami Bruno, you'd have LA Bruno.
Miami Bruno's a Cuban guy.
Let's see. He's back again with better coverage. And soon attendance is good enough that he's like, okay, no more Tony Santos and Jack Pfeffer. What did I write here? This shit adds up. What the fuck am I talking about? Oh, I know what I'm talking about. So in this paragraph, Tim writes this. I'm going to read this all. Tim writes this. He's talking about, he starts going off on Bruno versus Toru Tanaka. And he writes, a high spot was the feud between Bruno and Hawaiian powerhouse Professor Toru Tanaka, which included a stunner on September 30th when Tanaka pinned the champion with his feet on the ropes for leverage. And I just kind of like took a moment where I was like, all these sentences like this, all this kind of shit, it adds up. We're on page 210 here. We're in the home stretch. And
No,
it's
this
just
is
like,
definitely Tim, you gotta go. Come on, buddy.
like we're talking about this match being a stunner and like
And my wife's got to wake up tomorrow. Like, please.
But you know, a high point of 1967 was actually when Tanaka used the ropes to pin Bruno.
Oh, yeah, definitely going, is this your coat? So
no, take your leftovers. No, please, come on.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah. Boston became one of the most important cities in McMahon circuit. Got it. Philadelphia is also. Ray Fabiani is still there. How old's he? We got an age for a Pfeffer. How old's Fabiani at this point? He's got to be equal. I like that Fabiani. He goes, when he wasn't concentrating on wrestling and working with Vince, to bolster Philadelphia, he was the general manager of the Philadelphia Lyric Opera Company, or the American manager of Italian tenor Franco Corelli.
Violinist turned pro wrestler.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find his date of birth.
I wrote Ray Fabiani is Uncle Junior singing at the dinner. Vincent Kennedy starts mocking him, and Vince is like, "Shh, let the man sing." He retires in the late 60s, and everything in Philadelphia is inherited to Phil Zacco, the secretary-treasurer of Capitol Wrestling. They continue the TV program Wrestling from Philadelphia. I also found that interesting. All these shows have a common thread. They're all using the same roster or whatever, but each show locally is like Wrestling from Philadelphia. What was the Washington also had one similar of like whatever, but I'm dumb. Were people like, this is my local promotion? They understood, right, that the people in Philadelphia were getting essentially the same show, just titled with the word Philadelphia in it.
I guess.
I don't know. I mean, because there was a big scuffle with the Black Saturday when people were like, "What the fuck happened to wrestling?"
That's all it takes is just putting the name. Because some of these were even taped in a separate city, and he's just putting them out. The coverage, the TV coverage is.
Fabiani was born in 1891.
Good Lord.
So he's 70 something here.
Good grief.
I'm reading his obituary. Founder of the Philadelphia Lyric Opera Company, still managing it at the time of his death, even after 2 strokes.
Lordy.
Born in Naples.
Now he... I bet he was a huge San Martino guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing us proud, Bruno.
That's what convinced me to work with him.
Let me play you something on my Victorola.
Hey, Bruno confesses to love an opera.
There you go. They're just sitting in the back. She's saying she's saying her heart is broken. Her husband has gone to war. You can hear it. She aches for him to return.
I don't want to travel.
New York City had no televised wrestling for 3 months. McMahon is trying to get on TV. He needs TV. And Tim Rice said a lot of the executives at the stations just did not find wrestling, quote unquote, to be hip anymore. And 1967, I guess so. Okay.
It is kind of interesting that we never really got a wrestling trying to be current to the culture in the 60s, early 70s. You know what I mean? There really wasn't a wrestling
Outside of maybe guys growing their hair out a little long.
Yeah, but you never really saw disco culture seep in, or
no.
Hippie culture. Would have been interesting if there was a psychedelic wrestling promotion.
or in the 60s, a guy comes out he's a rat packer. He's got sunglasses on and a suit, and he has to take the whole damn suit off before he starts wrestling. He's a little mod man.
The only thing I can think of,
Sammy Davis Jr. for some reason.
The only thing I can think of is the Hells Angels was a tag team, who then got the shit beat out of them by the real Hell's Angels for using their name.
Yeah, that usually happens.
There's
I mean, I guess Billy Graham, but that was like that was mid 70s, and he was
that was
late.
10 years past. Yeah, exactly.
That is kind of lame that like that group of guys are like, we'll really spice wrestling up dressing. We're almost into the 80s at this point. It's like, right. What if I'm a groovy cat, man? Hulk Hogan, who's a child at this point, as he would put it, is watching and going, wow, that's cool.
Watching Dusty.
Yeah. Yep. Now, there's always a guy this is how it always goes with TV and wrestling. There's always a guy, right, who's found himself in some kind of position of power, but he has some kind of wrestling connection.
Jamie Kellner.
Yeah. There's a guy named Fred Sales, and he had been, I believe he used to be an announcer years earlier for wrestling, and now he finds himself as a program director in Newark. And he's like, hey, I think we should put wrestling on.
Why is this nitpicking? Because Tim says he'd worked as a grappling broadcaster years earlier. What does that mean? Wrestling? Just say wrestling.
Oh, he gets flowery with all that stuff a little bit.
He's got his synonym book out. His thesaurus.
Yeah. So they get on TV again.
Tim, it's 1 o'clock. We can't play rock.
We're getting over. We're getting back over 14,000. Okay, it's January 68. It marked the final Okay, so that, by the way, January 29th, 1968 is the final wrestling event at that Madison Square Garden that Tex Rickard had drawn out all those years ago.
Old Tex.
And Tim writes, an estimated 250 million people attended over 140 different events at the venue, including political rallies, variety shows, and all types of athletics. And I wrote, Tim, what kind of political rallies? Tell me about one specifically that happened at that one.
I can't go to the garden. The Nazis will chase me to the mountains.
Vince McMahon feels like the arena is special, personal to him.
The garden will always be the garden, Vinny.
His father, Jess, had been the first boxing promoter there. Vincent tells the Washington Post in an article in 1968 that on that final show, he was just about the last person left in the building. And he writes, it felt eerie thinking about the things that I saw there in the 42 years since my dad had opened it. And I was like, okay, you guys were not the first event. Okay, first of all. And also the booking was, I think it was the Johnstons, okay? Take it easy. But Vince is in his own little movie, walking around an empty Madison Square Garden, hearing the crowd that's, roaring in his mind. Oh, yes. All the memories. There's going to be a new Madison Square Garden, $150 million at Penn Station on 8th Avenue and 33rd Street. The first wrestling show is February 19th, 1968. 12,989 people is 8 matches. San Martino beats Bull Ramos in 12 minutes. Yes, the Washington Post says that Bruno has headlined the Garden 55 times in the last 5 years. And
I don't like to travel.
Nobody really gives a shit. So, but Vince is like, it can't possibly be Bruno. Why nobody gives a shit? Yeah, this is where people that don't like Bruno are like, why doesn't the guy travel? Okay, you're a star in the Northeast. Go anywhere else if you're such a big star.
Fuck it. Why? Right?
Yeah, he's making money. I wouldn't travel either. Like, that's why be a martyr to that grind of like never seeing your family, like never having a peaceful night?
And what's 1960s travel like? It's not good.
No.
You taking a train somewhere?
Like,
Bruno was watching Sable and during the Attitude Era, and she'd say, "Are you ready for the grind?" He'd say, "No."
no,
Triple H just trotted that. Can you believe that Paul Levesque trotted that out recently with the Will Ospreay signed with the AEW? Some people just don't like the hustle, the grind. Okay. Buddy.
Meanwhile, the dude is like flying back and forth from like England multiple times a week.
Home to UK. Let's see. Okay, so Vince notes this and starts sending him up to Toronto. Between 65 and 68, he goes to Puerto Rico, Calgary, Buffalo, Nashville, Memphis, and 2 trips to Australia and Japan. And I made note that, as we've known in all these books, the food thing is a big thing with wrestlers, and there's no way Bruno's enjoying any of these trips. He's not enjoying the cuisine. He's missing his mama's sauce, no doubt. He needs the home cooked meal. We got we're back to listing people. This is something I picked up in this last chat, or the second last chapter. I picked up that Tim likes to just every now and then do a paragraph where he's like, "What was the roster like these days? Like the colorful cast of characters," and he lists them. We got Carpenter, Brazil, Italians, Antonini. Yeah, it's getting late. Italians, Antonio Puglisi, and Dominic Dunucci. Hey, he's showing up. Tony Altamore, Lou Albano, Bano, Mitsu Arakawa, Hans Mortia, Virgil, the Kentucky Bircher. That's an easy one.
My old drug dealer was a 65-year-old black man named Lemmy, and he revealed he used to go to the matches as a kid, and that Bobo was his guy.
That's nice.
Well, what Bobo Brazil certainly set a good example.
What if he'd been that whole time watching Hobo Brazil?
It could have been.
And that's what turned into his life of crime.
He was despondent. He became a hobo.
Yeah.
Did you say WWF United States Champion Bobo Brazil? We're talking about that guy?
I know Bobo's big in Cleveland.
Then we get to San Martino's feuding with Jim Myers. You're going, Jim Myers from Michigan State University? Trained by Bert Ruby and Gino Brito in Detroit? Yeah, we're talking about George Steele. Stuff like that, Tim. I don't need to know who trained it.
Yeah.
Come on. We do some more fans. 6,000, 8,000. This is where I write here because the Sheik is being goofy in the Garden. The New York State Athletic Commission doesn't like it, and I'm like, when? Tell me. I want to know this, Tim, because it's been brought up. These commissions have been brought up so much. When do they go? It's just who gives a shit? Why are we doing this? We never find out. Now they're on TV
because by the 80s, I feel like it's mostly health stuff they do.
Yeah, they finally start giving up on the.
Maybe I should. I will email somebody that question.
When did the athletic commission stop getting involved so heavily in the what would that be the content of the card?
Well, no, hang on. I mean, into the 2000s, Ian Rotten got wrestling banned in Indiana.
Yeah, some places still don't allow you to bleed.
Louisiana for a bit. I think Oregon's been notoriously weird for.
Well, not weird, but they were the only ones that required drug tests.
Yeah.
And that's why WWF didn't go there for like 15 years.
Some still don't do the bleed. I think recently that was in the news because Tony Khan let somebody bleed and just paid the fine or something like that. And then also, the recent news was, which one was it? Oklahoma?
Yeah, with Nyla.
With the Nyla Rose, they're not going to allow trans people to compete athletics. So they're on the WWF is on TV, and they have a large Spanish language audience. 1.6 million are watching UHF television.
Olay.
But they're still dinking around with his Wrestling from Washington program. And
Also, you're coming up on it. So Toots sells.
Yeah.
Why do we need to know the address of where Toots moves to?
I wrote next to that, doxed him.
The Lewis and Clark Towers, 9953 Lewis and Clark Boulevard.
I don't know. Maybe some fan reads this and goes, "Honey, I know where our next trip is, and we're going to take a picture outside the."
Toots Monster there, and
and also, so Toots sells, right? 50% is what he owned.
Yep.
It was only worth $50,000, so the company's worth $100,000.
I break that all down.
Toots probably owed them like $2 million or something.
I know, they took away. They were like, "Okay." He was like all excited to sell, and I go, "Okay, but you do know how much money that you've embezzled from us, right?"
Right, exactly. We'll give you $50,000 and a watch, and just go away.
Yeah, in '69, Toots. You sure you don't want me to go through and talk about all the attendance ups and downs of the Steel San Martino program?
No.
Yes, Toots in '69 sells his stock in the company and retires. They retire. Him and his wife Alda retire to St. Louis, as Larry says, he writes down their exact address, and he'd often eat lunch with Sam Mushnick in St. Louis there. And I imagine it was mostly just Sam asking if Vince has spoken about him recently. Have you heard from Vince? Has he said anything about me at all? So Mont had 50% of Capital Wrestling. That's 500 shares of common stock worth $50,000. He sells 250 shares to Phil Zacco. He sells 250 to Gorilla Monsoon. And the deal is 10 years, you pay me $203 a month. There you go. So he's getting $406 a month from Zacco and Monsoon combined, which it comes out to $3,500 is what I got with my inflation calculator.
$3,500
a month.
Oh, for that. So, but yeah, I mean, Gorilla bought his part for $227,000.
Yeah. Yep. So, also, what are we talking about here? We talk about also one of Mont's associates in Pittsburgh, Rudy Miller.
And this doesn't go. I mean, yeah, he's just really hitting signposts now. Johnston dies. I mean, who cares?
Well, yeah, Charles Johnston, who we've not heard of at all. Once it kind of becomes Vincent McMahon and the NWA and all that. Has he left? It says he's been the promoter this whole time. So was Vincent not the official promoter? He's running the shows, but Johnston is listed as the in name only.
Maybe.
Dory Funk Jr. is champ over in the NWA.
Come here, buddy.
Fred Kohler passes away of a heart attack. They hear about this at one of their conventions or whatever, the meet, and Sam Mushnick says, "May we have a moment of silence for Fred Kohler, please?"
In Acapulco.
Let's see. So 1970 is a good year for the WWF. It's Koloff and San Martino, 16,000, almost 17,000. Crusher Verdue. Really, he's loading the bases up. Are we kidding with this? Every time I look up, it's getting worse. Hey, I gotta... Never mind. I'm not going to talk about Chapman or say anything off color right now. I have an idea for Chapman.
Oh, well, that reminds me, if you're going where you think you're going, you know what I'm absolutely going to do as a bit and take it to the full hilt?
Oh, okay.
Ice.
yeah.
Joining Ice.
Oh, okay.
I want that student loan forgiveness.
Oh, that's my backup plan too. If I get laid off now, honestly,
I pitched this recently to my wife, or maybe as a bit where I was like, somebody should join ICE and just be the most inept agent of all time. Get all the perks.
No, what are you talking about? You're going to happily serve to the best of your ability, and you're going to give it 110 gosh darn % every day.
You're losing people. You're forgetting to lock the door on the back of the van. You're putting in the wrong forms. It's just a disaster. You're leaving doors open.
If nothing else, they just want to gum up the system. Maybe get an in-person interview.
Your manager at ICE is always going, Larry!
Did you get a badge? I just want to tell him, chew a lot of gum, wear some sunglasses.
I just want to tell him I want to keep. I mean, recent immigration isn't far enough. We need all European immigrants as well. Let's see how it goes on the board. This man is Polish. Are we getting rid of him?
You're at a diner pointing at this poor old man trying to eat his breakfast. Hey, hello. Let's see.
I would shuffle and throw so many papers. I think that would be my thing. Just constantly throwing papers.
Guys, did you know that the WWF roster featured an assortment of colorful characters?
No.
Who are these characters?
Victor Rivera, Chief J Strongbow.
No, can we call ice on Chief J Strongbow?
Send him back to Naples.
Wasn't he the one? Which one who was bread drying? Was bread drying him?
Yeah, it was Chief.
Okay, yeah, Chief. Let's see. Beppo Mongol, Bulldog Brower.
He's legit.
Beppo Mongol is Nikolai Volkov.
Oh, really?
Okay. I like Beppo. Lucha Libre on WXTV out of Patterson, New Jersey. There you go. They're airing television there. Spanish interest. This is all underlining Spanish interest is building in professional wrestling. And so McMahon says, you know what? It's time to make a change. Also, what helps with that? Come on. Keep it there. Yeah.
You're doing a deal with the devil. It's
yeah, where's your gum now, Boone? Oh, there it is. Disgusting.
There's no moral in sports.
There's no ethical consumption in sports. That's right. So also, San Martino doesn't want to be champion anymore. He wants to take a break. Let's see. What did I write here? What happened to? Oh, what happened to 2 hour count-ups? So they need a transitional champion, and he talks about Koloff beats Bruno with a top rope knee drop. I said, whatever happened? Is there one old ass fan out there that's like, back in my day, this would have been 2 hours and ended in a count out. That's when it was good. let's see. He chooses. This is all to get around to Pedro Morales. Okay, he's going to be the champion now. Right? We got a lot of Spanish fans to make money off of.
Pedro, don't call me Tito Puente Morales.
Yeah. Cola Coriani shows back up because he discovered old Pedro in the gym as a teenager. He was the U.S. champion, and they're doing the gimmick where the U.S. champion is kind of the ability. If you're a U.S. champion, you're probably going to be world champion at some point, is what the thinking is. And we're getting $21,000, $86,000 gates. They love Pedro. And it was kind of didn't know. Pedro seems to be pulling in larger gates than Bruno. Let's see. Washington, D.C. After all these years, McMahon's wrestling out of the national arena. That's coming to a close. The announcer was Ray Morgan, and was let's see, 43 years of weekly grappling entertainment had gone on. There we go. That's right. Look at all those sad Yankee fans. That's great. They had the bases loaded. The dopes. The Hamburg Fieldhouse. Okay, that's where they're going here. This is where he says it's a perfect venue for wrestling. 1,500 to 2,000 people. Let's see. You're paying $2 or $3 for seats at the Fieldhouse here to watch some wrestling in the Capitol, outside the Capitol there. Now, you'd think that Ray Morgan would go over to the new show, the new Digs, and he'd be the announcer, right? Well, he'd also ask for a raise. He also now needs to drive farther. And he's also a member of AFTRA, the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. And so they do come to a agreement that commentators would receive $230 an hour and $1,380 for 2 days of announcing work. Here's where there's a change. Vince goes to his son and says, "You're not a member of AFTRA, are you? And you're not going to shake me down, are you?" And Vincent Kennedy McMahon is now the announcer for the Washington program, ending the local legends run on being on TV. Vince is 27 years old. He's grown up in North Carolina, and he did not meet his birth father until he was 12 years of age. Why? It's not said. What's going on with that with Vince during this time, or why? What was Vince's relationship with
it was said about Vince just meeting that woman in the Navy and never going back.
I know, but why aren't you checking in on your kid? What's the deal here?
I'm too busy covering up Toots' accounting fraud.
He's following Toots around the country, chasing him down. And Tim's like, yeah, he's just like his dad. Vincent Kennedy's just, he did the military school stuff and everything. And I know this was published in, what was it, 2013? Something like that. What was it? I kind of want to go back and go, Tim, Vincent Kennedy. I don't know. Things take a turn. By 1971, Vince has his own son. He names him Shane. He's doing Capital Wrestling in Maine. He's the promoter there. Tim writes he was full of promise. And then he moves on. Bill Zacco says, let's get back into Baltimore. 71. They had not high taxes, basically. It kept them out of Baltimore. Mushnick is writing people and going, hey, I think Vince might join the NWA again. see, so they do. They speak. They make arrangements. They have a special meeting November 21st in St. Louis at the Chase Park Plaza Hotel. And McMahon is back in the NWA. He's agreed that he will not reference his title as a world title. It will be a regional title. And he will recognize Dory Funk Jr. as the world heavyweight champion. Mushnick is jazzed, and he sends a bulletin out. Vince McMahon is in the NWA. He even writes a letter to the Ring Wrestling magazine announcing McMahon back in the NWA, titled Peace on Earth.
Okay, guys, let's pump the brakes.
I like this. Paying his $100 dues, McMahon was back in good graces. Sam frames that $100 bill. Yes!
God, they're so petty.
He goes to Vince and goes, now you're going to keep paying me these dues, right? And Vince is like, sure, just like last time. Vince McMahon will not be accused of having a monopoly in the Northeast. And he says in June 21st in the Washington Post, Times Herald, I haven't got a monopoly by any means. He just says, he's friends with commissioners and media members and wrestlers, and there you go. Tim gasses him up some more. When he says he's going to do something, he does it, and he's very good with payoffs. We'll come back to that. Did you know that the WWF is using a new strategy of integrating a slew of recognizable wrestlers? You want to hear some?
Jesus.
Funk, Briscoes, Carl Gotch, Jimmy Valiant, Al Costello, Fred Blassie, Ernie Ladd.
I thought he was talking about those are the guys they got from Florida.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, now they're utilizing all these other guys.
Yeah.
They talk about a program that he puts out in the Garden that's acknowledging the NWA, the AWA. It's got Vern on it. It's got Dory on it.
Yep.
Morales is billed as the WWF champion, and it remained on par, Tim writes, with the NWA and AWA crowns in terms of respectability. And I wrote, no, that wasn't Sam's plan. Oh, look at all these 3 equal titles. Women's wrestling made its debut at the Garden after a lengthy ban. Moolah's in here.
Dun, dun, dun.
The New York Athletic Commission had lifted the rule on July 1st, 1972, that has suspended women's grappling. They're pulling in 20.
Suspended, Tim.
Doesn't say. It says here attendances are over 22,000 commonly. The gates, they're getting $100,000 gates. Vince wants to do the wrestling match of the century: Pedro Morales versus Bruno Sammartino for the WWF belt.
Hell yeah, let's fucking go.
They're going to do it at Shea Stadium, September 30th, 1972. It's raining. It's 47 degrees.
Jeez.
In September. You're outside. It's raining. It's 47 degrees.
Miserable fall rain in the Northeast.
22,508 were there. They competed for just over an hour. The contest was stopped at the 11 p.m. curfew. I would have loved to be at this show, being
sitting in the rain until 11 o'clock, and then you get kicked out with.
Yeah, I guess it's over. Don't worry, they sent the fans home happy by hugging each other. Some people did not like that. They wanted to see a finish.
Some people.
Most people
were like, they're telling a good story here. We're in the 3rd inning.
Mil Mascaris is here, and he can wrestle in a mask, even though the commission does not usually give that permission out. It could be anybody under that mask. Who are we to the commission's concerned? Who are you trying to fool? What's going on here? A crime? Let's see. The spoiler was forced on us. And on the horizon is Andre the Giant. Chapter 14, The Destiny of the McMahon Dynasty. Is this the last chapter? It is. Is it?
Yeah.
Or is there one more? I can't remember. And of course, you just think a title like that, it's gonna start out with, "Hey, it's Andre's 21 years old and he's in Paris."
Oh God, yeah.
He's known as Jean Pierre. He's a French champion in '68. In '71, he joins Verne. Vincent J. McMahon is fascinated by this man. Look at the size of this guy's head. So he signs him to Capital Wrestling, dubs him Andre the Giant. You know, his son gets a lot of credit for Andre. This is his dad. Feels like everyone points to Vince Jr. and goes, "Hey, no Andre without him." It's like, what did he do? Put him in a program with Hulk that his dad had already done. Dubbed Andre the Giant, he was repackaged and sold to the public as the 8th wonder of the world. 7'4", 424 pounds. Vince has a thing made up of his, his silhouette towering over the Manhattan skyline, and put that in the programs. And he shows up at the Garden in New York on March 26, 1973, defeating Buddy Wolf. He talks. I have nothing because my eyes started getting crossed. He starts talking about CCTV and cable and HBO and the Grand Wizard and am I missing anything? Captain Lou, Bobby Davis, and then he says, and then a North American Intercontinental title becomes the WWF's secondary singles championship. Okay. Now, somebody at the Ring Wrestling is making note that, hey, Morales is outdoing San Martino. They hit 20,000 quite often. San Martino's over here, pulling in 8,000 sometimes or something like that.
I've been scanning, history of WWE, looking at Madison Square Garden cards from the 60s to 70s.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just got into 73. And yeah, Pedro's packing them in. Every show's a sellout.
And he's very much a minor. Now, why would Paul Levesque want to reach out to Bruno and not Pedro? And you know what I'm saying? Why is Bruno such a major?
Is Pedro dead? He may be very dead.
I'm just like it's like Paul's like we gotta repair the relationship with Bruno. He is a living legend.
Should Pedro be 2019?
Okay, so he could have reached out.
Where's his big ta-da? He was a major force in that company.
He went in one of the original 95 classes.
Why isn't there like a video package of Bad Bunny talking about how?
Yeah. Let's do it again.
Yeah, why isn't Damian Priest wearing a Pedro shirt? All right.
They rewrite their history.
Maybe we can reach out to Mike Santana and be like, "What do you think of Pedro?"
There you go.
You mean NXT superstar Mike Santana?
Yeah, just be like, "Mike, what do you think of Pedro?"
Did you see they renamed the NXT show from Invasion because they realized they realized the show is happening on October 7th?
Yes.
What's October 7th?
That was when the Israel-Gaza thing started.
Oh, that's a fucking problem.
What is that? And how long? I marked that was a month before I asked Sean Oliver what he thought about it. That's how I mark it. So Harley Race in 1973 becomes the champion, and Jack Briscoe Okay. Let's see. McMahon decides to take the belt off Morales in 73 and has nothing to do with anything, really. He doesn't even write why. He's like, it's nothing to do with his performance. So why does he decide to do this? Kind of puts that like, oh, well, Bruno was a very coveted free agent. As if Bruno was going to leave, go work in the South for an extended period of time. Bruno's working in Japan. McMahon offers San Martino a stunning financial deal to return, Tim writes.
Okay, I'll say this. Bruno's second reign.
Mm-hmm. That's when it picks up.
He's hitting the sellouts.
Okay. Bruno fulfilled an obligation to wrestle in Japan where he spent Thanksgiving. And I wrote, Bruno's worst Thanksgiving of all time. There's no way. That was the one he hated and still thinks about. So, December 1973, Philadelphia Arena, 5,000 people. There it is. It was Stasiak and Pedro to get a transitional champion, correct? A double pin. Wah, wah. That's how they protected Pedro. But then nope. Let's see. So then San Martino, there we go. 22,000 fans to see San Martino back on top. September 13th, 1974, Jack Pfeffer dies in a nursing home outside of Boston. Yeah, and this is where he says he was naturally skilled at creating and pushing new talent. I said, is it a skill to look at a name and go, what if I changed a letter? Yeah. Often paranoid and occasionally peculiar. Wish we would have given like anything. Give me one bit of color to this. In 1974, there was a lot of, remember all the guys, all of our favorites, they're all starting to croak. Joe Stetcher, Joe Savaldi, Lee Wyckoff. So, 1970, McMahon was a member of the NWA board of directors. Who else is there on this board of directors? Jack Atkinson, Eddie Graham, Mike LaBelle, Frank Tunney,
Cowboys arrived.
Don Owen. He's giving money. Vince McMahon is giving money to the United States Wrestling Federation. And he's featuring Sam Mushnick in his WWF material. He talks, Tim starts talking about Graham's Tampa-based championship wrestling from Florida. Pedro Martinez pops back up with his son Ron
Martinez.
And it's again another thing where they're going to try to push McMahon out. But I mean, there's like a few pages. Like we're doing another little wrestling war here. He says the IW was a threat to be reckoned with, and I mean, is it because? But basically, they take over McMahon's time slot, or like wrestling pro. They're the wrestling on TV, and so and then finally the what does it say here? They expand again. They can't expand very quickly. They're out of business by saying it was for being a threat to be reckoned with. It wraps up pretty quickly, and you better believe McMahon is out there crowing about a dominant 7.0 rating with a 32% share. Ratings discourse? No, not in 1975.
How'd they do in the demo, though?
I'm sorry. Larry,
no wonder Dave was like glazing this so much.
I personally find that kind of stuff interesting. Tim's testing me on some of this stuff. The data. I like to look at the thing. You can chart the business and go, okay, that guy's popular. Da, 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 da. I find the people that are like really, really anti about that stuff, they're the jerks to me. Just don't watch wrestling. Leave us alone here in this ratings discourse thread. Let us talk about the ratings. Go, you can watch it. No one's stopping you from watching it. You don't have to be in here. Let me have my spreadsheets. Huh?
You don't like it? Turn the knob.
Yeah. I don't have anything. He starts yammering about Mike LeBell, like the different, like the Hollywood Wrestling Office, and I just was like, okay, let's wrap it up. He goes back to like McMahon still like to promote boxing. He goes into that. He goes into Ali and Inoki. They want to do it so badly that they offer Ali $6 million. Then he's like, oh no, what have I done? No one's coming to see this thing. They're doing CCTV. Andre faces Chuck Wepner. Okay. Stan Hansen shows up. San Martino is legitimately dropped on his head and suffers a fractured vertebrae in his neck. I like that you're right. San Martino is genuinely sidelined.
Not ingenuinely sidelined.
Yeah. Then doctors warn San Martino never to maybe he shouldn't wrestle ever again. He says that McMahon was in the red, right? Oh, because of the Shea show. He needs San Martino to be there to make a profit on this bad boy. So he goes, "Hey, disregard
for the Ali match." Yeah.
Yes. He faces.
I don't like Tim gets wrong in here, and I'm kind of surprised. He says Ali got his shtick from Gorgeous George.
He does.
And it's actually Fred Blassie.
Yeah.
Come on, Tim. The real ones know that.
Joe Toots Mont quietly passes away in St. Louis. I like quietly passed away as opposed to screaming.
That's the Herb Abrams way.
In a hail of fire, gunfire. That would have been great. So
I'll have to seek out Toots' gravesite if I ever find myself in St. Louis.
Age of 82. Let's see. He writes, by the time he dies, there people barely remembered that he was one of those OG grapplers. In his later years, he'd go over to the Kiel Auditorium and with his wife and watch the matches. What the fuck? Oh, did rookies go up and shake his hand and introduce themselves? And then go, hey, where's my wallet? Mushnick bows out of the NWA in 75. Jack Atkinson takes over, and here we go. This is where the NWA starts shitting itself. The WWF was overflowing with talent. Want to know some of them? Bruiser Brody, Dusty Rhodes, Ivan Putski. So everyone's nervous about Bruno's neck. And Bruno even tells McMahon, I don't know if I can keep being champion.
My neck.
I'm going.
My neck.
And they decide to go with Bob Backlund, who, alleged crack alleged.
Noted.
Superstar Billy Graham also. That's before they go to Backlund. They go to Billy Graham. Is that correct?
Yes.
Because they want to do good guy, bad guy, good guy. They want to just keep going. That's how they want to do it. Okay. do we get that stuff? Like, it was a pin using the rope for lever, blah, 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 blah.
You know something Tim didn't mention, and I see it on this history. So I went to the show where Pedro wins the title.
Yeah.
It says Backlund came out to celebrate with him.
Is? Or he didn't put that in?
That was in this result.
Yeah.
So that happened, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Tim doesn't say that.
Yeah, Tim would usually.
But that's a funny kind of big leaguing thing, right?
Yeah.
Bruno coming out having to endorse him.
Let's see. Oh, then he says, okay, so people are sad that San Martino's reign had ended. And then Tim writes that if they were really old fans, they are also sad because Antonino Rocca has died at the age of 49. That's when I was like, wait, what? I looked it up because I was like, I need to know more. How does this guy die at 49? Very disappointed, Tim. You put in everything about like Toots Ma. You've been talking about Rocca for all these pages, and then you're just gonna be like, anyways, he died at 49. Moving on. You know what he died of? He died in the hospital from complications of a urinary tract infection. That's crazy.
Now, do you know about the claims that Rocca was had worked for the CIA?
No, I'm not aware of those.
Okay.
You think he went into the hospital and that's where they kill people, huh?
That's a real thing.
Was that the Time magazine, used to do these like roundups of people that have died. And they wrote about Rocca dying.
Wow,
49, flamboyant wrestler who claimed that he knew the secret of... This is kind of a passive-aggressive swipe, I feel like. This is kind of... Flamboyant wrestler who claimed that he knew the secret of life and would live to be 150 died of a urinary tract infection at 45.
Come on, that's so
the secret of life, Rocca says, they put in parentheses, good blood circulation. Okay. Then they talk about, he delighted millions of the... But then also underneath him, they have died Al Bramlett, 59, powerful boss of the Las Vegas local of the Culinary Workers Union since 1952, found shot in a rock pile in the desert, 30 miles from Las Vegas. And I was like, you don't get obituaries like that anymore at Time Magazine. No, this guy was shot and found in a pile of rocks in the desert.
A lot of fucking holes in that desert.
Yeah. A wheeler dealer with enemies, even in his own union, Bramlett ran into trouble when he brewed up a new scheme with the mob to skim money from the union's pension fund. 2 weeks after the fund's trustees vetoed the idea, Bramlett disappeared. Cool. So what do we got here? Gorilla Monsoon and Phil Zacco now sell 50 of their shares to Arnold Scanlon.
How the Tangiers got built.
He managed. Let's see. So basically, Arnold's just been working.
Hey, by the way, that reminds me. I wanted to make this joke last week, but Toots going over to work concessions is just like when Ace Rothstein names himself food and beverage director.
Yes. I still have my eye on everything. Oh, that's funny. So, and basically Arnold's getting stock, getting shares, because he's just been working at the company, and they're like, okay, time to bring him into the fold a little bit here, like this. So now it's 50%, Monsoon Zacco, 20, and old Arnold gets 10%. Scallon, what is it? Scallon. Let's see. What does he write here? Okay. Oh, he brings up Andre. He's back to Andre. That's right. He gets back to Andre, and he's like, Andre would wrestle 4 times and make $1,550, compared to Harley Race in the NWA would wrestle 8 matches and still make, now this is how Tim writes it, and still make $550 less. And I wrote, just write $1,000. Let's see. At one point, he puts in Vince sees Andre wrestle Inoki in Japan. Is that what he's saying here? But then he puts the next year, in need of a little rest and relaxation, McMahon took a little time off for himself and ventured around the world. Okay. Cool.
You know, that's a normal thing normal people do at that age, you know, just.
All right. I want to know about Vincent. What did he do? What was he had any recollections? Were these in some of the letters where he's writing Sam or somebody and like, I just saw the Eiffel Tower for the first time. Magnificent. Willie Gilzenberg, who we really did not get a lot on in this book. He dies. November 15th, 1938. He gone. New Japan's Hisashi Shinma becomes president of the company. Okay. Mickey Duff of England is vice president. Okay. Somewhere in March or April of 79, McMahon shortens it to the WWF. Did you know there were dozens of up-and-comers in 79 and 1980? Like Roddy Piper, Dick Murdoch, Ted DiBiase, Tito Santana, Greg Gagne. That's pretty rough putting him in there with these guys.
Greg Gagne, yeah. I mean, he was... No.
David and Kerry Von Erich.
Like, he helped out in the book, and I was like, I got you, Greg. Putting you over, pal.
Tim, I like Tim's writing here. The Terry, he's talking about how massive, lucrative the Northeast Territory is. The territory itself was almost too opulent for one promoter.
Well, it says Vern wrestled there in 79. He'd have been 55.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Let's see. So right here it says, according to accountants Leopold and Lanaus of Washington, D.C., Capital Wrestling, the company took in $4.1 million in gross box office receipts in 1979 and 1980. And then it had another $115,000 in TV receipts. So I'm like, okay, I did the inflation on that. That's $18 million. Okay. And I kind of made a mental note. Remember when Jim Ross was talking about how like Gorilla Monsoon was rolling with like the vanity plate and the car and everything? I was like, of course, this company's been pulling in $18 million a year after year. But then Tim kind of does this thing where he goes, okay, but you know, the cost of business, got to pay the wrestlers and the referees. And he really putting in the referees as part of the, okay. Advertising, rental agreements, travel fees, licensing, television operations.
Hey, it's hard out there for billionaires.
So if you think about, so let's say they made 4.1, that cost them 3 points. They said they spent 3.6 million. Okay. And then they got to they got to have their offices, right? Salary, insurance, telephone bills, all that kind of stuff adds up. That's another 380,000. So really, they only had like 639,000 in assets. There you go. They weren't really making that much money. And I'm thinking to myself, really, what was the payroll? You can't have this business be this successful if you're paying like all this money is going to the payroll.
I mean, there's definitely I know from like AWA and Bill Watts, there's like payroll receipts, like the margins on a show and that sort of stuff that is out there.
Yeah.
And it seemed pretty healthy from what I looked at. I mean,
the top guys aren't complaining.
No.
But did they know that?
Well, so $700,000 versus
like
4.1 million coming in. So that's like 1/6. So that's like a 16% margin on revenue. That's not terrible.
No.
I know the grocery business was 2, but that's traditionally
you're moving way more product though.
Yeah.
Did Pedro know they were pulling in that much money? That's what I want to know. Did a Pedro Morales understand that
he just heard it wasn't a great night at the gates, Pedro. Even if it was sold out.
Shea Stadium, August 9th, 1980. San Martino versus Larry Zbyszko, 40,000. Gate of $500,000.
Welcome to Larryland.
On that card, Andre the Giant defeats a 26-year-old blonde heel from Tampa, Hulk Hogan.
That's the match that drew the house.
This is how this is how Tim writes how he ends, San Martino's time with Capital Wrestling. He was acknowledged as a living legend. His importance faded. And then he departed under, quote, strained conditions. He'd later return as a part-time performer and commentator, only to experience an even greater estrangement that would continue until 2013. Okay, well, what was it?
Wow, yeah.
What was it? We know what it is, Tim, and you know what it is. And it's like, why is the WWF got to be? I know it's a book about the rise. You don't have to paint him as this like squeaky.
All of his wrestlers was on the cocaine. They were druggies.
You put me in the car in Arizona.
I want to know who. I want to know who was blasted in a car with Bruno. They got him freaked out. Who was he traveling with?
Roddy Piper. Or was it Bob Backlund? He saw Bob Backlund pull the Richard Pryor and lit himself on fire on the side of the road. Bruno was like, holy shit. This guy's crazy.
Just Bruno and Bob, and Bob breaks out the chore boy and his crack pipe while they're driving. And
Bob's gonna jerk the wheel at some point.
Bruno's like, that's not healthy.
Is that like a cigarette? Bob's eyes are real wide.
That's, this is when we speculate about his face when he would the Bob Backlund crazy face. Let's see. Buddy Rogers shows up and he's like, I'm old. Can I have some kind of gig? No. And here he gets back to Vincent Kennedy McMahon, describing him as a...
Tim doesn't say it, but Buddy has like a really short and pathetic run in Crockett in like 79.
Nope. Yeah. Let's see. Sam's like, we finally got him. We finally got Buddy Rogers. Unyieldingly busy man is, quote, how he describes Vincent Kennedy. He was envisioning a full and complete buyout of the Capital Wrestling Corporation. He's got the Cape Cod Coliseum in Massachusetts. He incorporated in 1980. February 21st, 1980. He incorporates Titan Sports. Vincent James is about to be 68, and he decides to step down. His health is a concern, and so at this point, Hulk has notified Vince Jr. that his father is pissing blood. So McMahon goes to his son. Vincent James goes to Vincent Kennedy. Let's talk about you buying the company. And on June 5th, 1982, McMahon and his 3 partners sell Capital Wrestling, and to Titan Sports for $644,264. They say, pay this. This has to be paid off in a year. Okay. And he breaks down what all the people were going to get, the breakdown of the money. And it needs to be paid off within a year or within 15 days of that year. And if it didn't, it would go back to the original owners. And I think this is, Tim doesn't talk about it, but it's been discussed. I think Linda has said it like, yeah, we've been talking about these garden gates this whole time. It's nothing. They paid it off easily. They're like, okay. So, sweetheart deal for Vince. Look, literally, yeah, they had just pulled in like $537,000 at that. So, they don't default. June 83, Vincent Kennedy now owns the business. And they were uniquely aggressive. Okay. I don't know about uniquely. He was breaking the unwritten rules that had been the foundation of the industry. I said, oh, come on, Tim. All these guys have been real cute with the rules and trying to expand here or there, and they would have done the same thing if they could. A lot of these guys are like, ugh, I don't have anybody I trust over in this city, and it's just not worth it. It just seemed laziness seemed to always get in the way of like the NWA is in Las Vegas at the Dunes Hotel in 1983, August. And Jim Barnett, a longtime secretary-treasurer in the organization, who would later work in various capacities for Titan, abruptly resigns before the first session.
Why did he abruptly resign?
Doesn't say. Vincent James maintains his membership despite selling the company, but he doesn't go to Vegas. And a day later, he sends a letter to Bob Geigel saying, I'm actually resigning from the alliance. And this is, Tim doesn't say it, but I believe this is Vincent James going, I know now what he will be doing here soon. Mm-hmm. I cannot stop this. NWA members aren't pleased because they're looking like they're a big fix for Vince all of a sudden aggressively trying to go into their territories is to, what if we call his dad and tell him to stop it? Few people knew that Vincent James was that he had very progressive cancer. Yes, Hulk knows, and Vince Jr. knows, and I guess Juanita knows. Vincent and Juanita, his second wife, they moved to South Florida in 1971, and they also live in Rehoboth, Delaware. They're snowbirds. They're living in Delaware, and then they go down to a suburb of Fort Lauderdale from October to May. So Vincent's going on his boat in his later years there. I guess this is before he gets really, or after he's living with I don't know. He's going on his boat. I'd want to know what the boat's name was, or if it had a name. What's Vince Jr.'s name?
Sexy bitch.
Sexy. It's very much Vince Jr. is very much the fail son like archetype, even though he's an old man and all that. But like really naming his boat "Sexy Bitch" and all that stuff. It's like, he would get together with Willie Gilzenberg. They'd have lunch, In 1984, his condition suddenly worsened. Suddenly, we're back to that. Vince McMahon died on May 27th. His will was going to leave everything to his wife, and if she had died before him, it was going to go to Vincent and Roderick. Well, Juanita continued to live in South Florida. She passed away in 98. And if you want to visit their graves, they're buried at Our Lady Queen of Heaven Cemetery in North Lauderdale, Florida. Tim writes, he was a man of honor and integrity, except all the times he wouldn't pay Sam and or boxed Ray Morgan out of a job. He played by the rules and took few major risks. He rarely gambled on potentially unsafe deals. That was Toots' job. He was thoughtful of promoters in other parts of the country. Unless you were trying to get in on his territory. Not so much. He'd reward wrestlers at times with bonuses. He'd take care of ailing former ring announcer Jimmy Lake in the 1950s and would keep people on payroll even after their retirement so they could pay their bills. Him selling the company is a secret. So in 1983, it's known. And he goes, okay, then Bob Backlund, and then on January 23rd, 1984, Hogan pins the Sheik and wins the belt. And this is the last paragraph. He just goes, so Vincent Kenny McMahon picked Hulk Hogan, and that was the end
hang on. There's a whopper you're missing.
What's the whopper?
It's talking about Vince Jr. It says he would earn the same kind of loyalty from his inner circle and employees and followed his father's custom of taking care of certain retired personnel. It was a McMahon family tradition and spoke well of their commitment to those who'd given so much to the company behind the scenes.
That's true. In
That's
my mind,
real.
When I read it, I was just like, oh, like Pat, okay. Or like, some of these older guys that have been around forever, like the Lanzas and all that stuff.
But to write that, that's almost shameless.
I know. He definitely, yes. I mean, yes. That's the he's just like, yes. And by the way, so Vince took over, Vince Jr., and they dominated the wrestling world. And I know this book was about the rise of this company. It wasn't really. It was just about the wrestling business during that time from the early 1900s to now, or to 1984.
I mean, I know his explanation is going to be you need the context to understand how Vince and Jess, But I don't know, we get more context than actual story of them. What's fucking Vince Senior's home life like? What's he doing?
Yeah, well, he's out on his boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think. Well, now I want to be fair to old Tim. Are we doing the thing where sometimes people review a movie and they're like they're mad at the movie for not being the movie that's in their head?
Yeah.
Are we doing that a little bit where we're like, well, we wanted like a history book where it's covering like Toots, Vince, and maybe a couple other guys, and like kind of you're getting like a kind of a fleshed out.
Okay, I guess so.
But because he was like, well, here's a bunch of names, dates, and gates, we're like, ugh.
Not bad. Listen, we have a lot of fun new characters. We got Toots. We got
I got some fun tidbits.
I'll always remember Dan O'Mahony getting his shit beat in, and
I will miss 1930s wrestling fan being subjected to
Cola Coriani getting beaten to death outside of a chess club for maybe saying the N-word to a group of local youths.
Yeah, and then Vince himself. It was in that bus. What happened with the cops there? They odd. Yeah. And now I guess I will reach out to Tim at some point, or not. I mean, do we want to?
Yeah, I don't care as much as.
Yeah, I'm good.
Well, Tim, we enjoyed it.
If Tim hears it and wants to come on, hit us up. But
I'm nervous. We've worked ourselves into where I'm like, I have my questions. I'm like, is he going to give good answers? I have all these questions that I want to ask them, and I'm like, well, it'll be interesting. Maybe I will. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next book is Pure Dynamite.
Yep.
All right. Yeehaw. Good night.
Good night.
It's Wilson again. That was fun. I bet it was the best episode ever. You know what you can do to help the workers out? Rate, review, all that good stuff on whatever app you're listening to. Tell us how much you love us. If you want to contact us, it's theworkersclubshow@gmail.com. We got a YouTube, The Workers Club Podcast, a Blue Sky, theworkersclub.org, and we have a Discord where the invite link is left in various places. I'm sure you can find it. That's it. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Bye.
Smile and love each other.